Good evening, all of you, and welcome to yet another session of IK Talks. This is Sunoj Nambiar from IndianSinquare.com. I have with me Dr. Rajendra and Dr. Sujata. I welcome you both to this session. I also welcome all the audience to this session. As you all know, we are in a unique situation where the children are the most affected people during this lockdown. They are inside the house 24/7, no playing with friends, no going out, no going to the park, malls, not even going to the schools. More than that, they are all online. As the online classes are started, they are spending minimum 3 to 4 hours in front of the screen every day. Even after the online classes, they don't have anything else to do other than watching the cartoons or chatting with the friends on mobile. The parents have great concerns about their health. Today, we have with us Dr. Rajendra Mishra and Dr. Sujata to clarify all your concerns and questions regarding this kids' health. Dr. Rajendra is a consultant pediatrician and neonatologist at Royal Hayat Hospital. He is also the treasurer of Indian Doctors Forum, Kuwait. I welcome Dr. Rajendra to this session.
Thank you.
We also have Dr. Sujata. She's an MS Ophthalmology. She's an ophthalmologist at Jabir Al Ahmad Armed Force Hospital, Kuwait. I welcome Dr. Sujata.
Thank you.
As you all know, the subject is very clear. Most of the parents are worried about their kids as they're tied up inside the house. Nothing to do other than watching the screen all the time. This is affecting their health. The parents are worried about this, how it's going to affect their health, how it's going to affect their eyesight. Dr. Rajendra, we started this session for the parents where they can clarify all the questions and concerns regarding this. And we have received a lot of queries from the parents. We have gathered all the queries and we have grouped because most of the queries are similar in nature. To start with, there are great concerns about the mental and physical challenges on kids as they are staying out and no physical activities. This is the major concerns and this is the major queries we are received from the parents. Dr. Rajendra, can you throw some light on this, how they can handle the situation?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Now we are in a unique situation with several months of coronavirus crisis behind us and more uncertainty and stress ahead. Life is tough right now for all the kids. Many parents are seeing their children experiencing anxiety, sadness, behavioral changes, and wondering how all of this will affect their children in the kids in the long run. Can children be traumatized by the coronavirus crisis? If they are, how will you know? With this situation, it is very difficult for everyone, but the good news is kids are resilient and parents can foster that resilience. And even though the coronavirus crisis is stressful and could lead to a long-term struggles for some kids, what you do now can make a big difference from them down the road. So first and foremost, you need to encourage your child by teaching them how to stay healthy, to avoid close contact, stay at home, cover your coughs, wash your hands, use alcohol-based hand sanitizers, clean and disinfect frequently touch surfaces, launder items, especially the washable plush toys, and avoid stigma because lack of knowledge leads to blaming someone and fears about disease and death and gossips that spreads rumors and myths, because this is going to affect the children also. And lastly, wearing, of course, the important thing is mask. Now for the mask, I will just say it is not advocated for children less than 2 years. It can be used for children 2 years and above. And also it is not advocated because they are in the children, smaller children, there are dangers of suffocation. And it is also not advocated for those who have breathing difficulties or those who are unconscious, incapacitated, or otherwise unable to remove the mask which is covering them. So this is what we pass on the knowledge to them. That will, I mean, whatever we talk to them about the COVID or whatever is going on should not bring in anxiety to them, and they have to be informed as to what is going around depending upon their age, which is for smaller children. You don't want to frighten them about what everything is going on. Instead of that, you try to explain in the terms which they can understand, and you can even show with some drawings or anything that there are some germs which are going on for which we need to do these things. And of course, when we follow these guidelines of how to prevent the spread, this will go put a deeper impact on the children. So by that, we will be able to not put a fear in them, because most of the corona things which is happening is not always going to cause the major issues to everyone. But the situation as it is has to be faced. There is uncertainty, but we don't want to pass all the uncertainty to the children. And that is the reason it is also essential that all the news channels or everything what we are watching or seeing, we try to filter it out for the children as far as possible, and also for ourselves, because whatever anxiety or any worries which we'll be having, it will pass on to the children or whoever else is in the house. So this is of a paramount importance. Subsequently, as the session goes through, we'll deal with the various situations regarding the screen times and other issues which are of other major concerns. Thank you, Mr. Sunoj.
Thank you, Doctor. Doctor, you mean to say that children below less than 2 years of age, it's not advised to wear the mask, right?
Yeah, less than 2 years, as per the WHO and CDC guidelines, they are not supposed to wear the mask, because they can get, or those who cannot take off the mask when they feel suffocated, that is the age for, I mean, people for whom mask is not advised, because they can get suffocated and cause more issues about it.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. That is new information for me. Thank you very much. Now, regarding the current issue where those online classes are also started and people are in front of the screen all the times, the major worry on the parents is about their eyesight, how it is going to affect their eyes. Dr. Sujata, can you give some insight on how the parents can handle this?
Yes, good evening, everybody. Thanks for having me here. Yeah, like both of you all said, this COVID pandemic has brought all the human beings' lives to a standstill, and children have been affected most of more than others, because they have to, like you said, they have to stay indoors all the time. They cannot go out and play, and on top of it, they have these online classes. See, ideally, children in the age group 4 to 10, they should spend at least minimum 1.5 hours per day on outdoor activities for the normal proper development of the eye. So this COVID pandemic is actually turning out to be a myopia pandemic. And what is myopia? Myopia is a condition where distant vision, that is distant objects cannot be seen clearly, and they need to wear glasses to make them clear. And studies have shown that if children spend less than 1.5 hours per day on outdoor activity, and more than 2.5 hours on near work, which can be the mobile or the laptop or PlayStation, it is shown that there is increased incidence of myopia and also progression of myopia. So if the current trend continues, by the year 2050, we'll have 50% of children wearing glasses. So we need to address this. And along with that, there is also a problem of near vision. When children do near work, which can be, like I said, reading or writing or using the laptop for more than 20 minutes, the eye muscles start feeling the strain. And if this is prolonged, they get symptoms like redness or itching, watering of the eyes. And again, if you ignore, it can lead to severe headache, eye pain, then blurring of vision. And see, when they use the computer for the online classes, in addition to this, there is also the drying effect caused by the screen. Because of the light from the screen itself causes drying. And also children, when they are looking at the screen, there is reduced rate of blinking. So blinking is a naturally developed mechanism in order to lubricate the eye and nourish the cornea. Cornea is important for focusing and for good vision. So what happens is when there's reduced blinking, they have more blurring of vision, and the increased dryness causes they feel there is some gritty sensation. They start rubbing the eyes, and rubbing itself is known to cause further blurring of vision, which is called astigmatism. If they go on doing it for a long period of time, they need to wear glasses for this. So rubbing of the eyes should be discouraged, and instead they can be asked to wash the eyes frequently with clean, cool filter water. And using the computer itself for prolonged periods of time can lead to computer vision syndrome. In this, in addition to the other earlier symptoms that I said earlier, like redness and itching and all that, they have intense headache, and then they get blurring of vision, double vision. And some children, they have so much of dryness that they have pain, severe pain at night, because the surface of the cornea, it just tears off, and then they get erosions and they have intense pain. So all these symptoms are on the rise now. A lot of children are suffering, and in addition, because of the lockdown, they cannot go to hospitals. And if the power changes also, they are not able to get it corrected. So all these issues are there. And so if the lockdown continues, and if online classes are there to stay, we need to do some measures in order to reduce the eye strain for the children. So first of all, I would say it's regarding the computer. If they have to use the computer, they have to make certain adjustments. For example, the screen should be at least 1 arm's length, or 20 to 24 inches from the eyes. Then the level of the screen should be just below the surface of the eye level, not too high, not too low. And the proper posture is also important, because again, if if they are using the computer for about 4 or 5 hours in a day, this itself can cause neck pain. So the children need to sit comfortably, and the height of the desk and the chair should be ensured that it is at the correct height, so that they don't develop any strain in or prolonged usage of the computer. Then the brightness of the computer has to be reduced to around 50%, and the contrast can be increased instead. And the blue light that is emitted again is cause increased dryness and damage the eye. So they can put either a blue light filter over the computer screen, or you can reduce in the settings, you can reduce the blue light. And in addition, there is the glare element, because light can be reflected from the walls and from the screen, and so you should see that the light in the room is not too bright. The curtains are also closed, so that not too much sunlight comes into the light into the room. Then even an anti-glare coating is also available, and recently with LCD screens, they come along with anti-glare coating. And if children are wearing glasses, they need to wear glasses all the time, preferably with anti-glare coating, which is again give some more comfort for the eyes. Then in addition to this, if children are, if they are wearing glasses, they need to check regularly. Once the lockdown is over, they have to get it checked at least once in 2 to 3 months, and correct their glasses regularly. And as I said, rubbing of the eyes should be avoided. If they find any itching or gritty sensation, it is better that they wash their eyes frequently. Now this comes to the next step. Next step is that they should take a break. Ideally, there is a 20-20-20 rule. This year is 2020, and everything what we say it will be, it will be 2020. So this rule of 20-20-20 says that they should take a break of 20 seconds. Every 20 minutes, they should go, either to the window or somewhere, and look at a distance more than 20 feet. Because when you're looking at an object beyond 20 feet, the focusing muscles are relaxed. So they should take a break every 20 minutes for 20 seconds and look at a distance more than 20 feet. This is one step. Then they can blink the eyes because they forget to blink when they're looking at the screen. When they take a break, you should ask them to blink the eyes. It is open and close 10 times, and then keep the eyes closed for 5 seconds. This can be repeated 4 or 5 times. So this is one. Then they can, like I said earlier, they can wash the eyes during the break with clean filter water. So this is some of the steps. Then in addition to this, they should drink plenty of water, at least 6 to 8 glasses of water. Before the classes start, they can drink 1 or 2 glasses of water and sit. Then eat good healthy food like fresh vegetables and fruits. In green leafy vegetables, yellow colored fruits and vegetables are highly nutritious for the eyes. Then all parents have the same complaint that my children are addicted to the television or to the mobile or PlayStation. What we can do? I would say that first of all, don't buy them these gadgets. And for children, if you advise them, you should also practice what you preach. Parents also need to lead by example. And then see, because there is hardly any activity indoors, they need to exercise, and there are yoga for the eyes as well as for the body will benefit them in the long run. And day after tomorrow is actually International Yoga Day. It would be good if the school also incorporates yoga into their curriculum, because in the long run, we need a child with not only just good vision, also with a healthy body and a strong mind. Then all this will go a long way to improving their self-confidence, and it's not just academic excellence that we look at. School should also take up incorporate hobbies and create some platform where they can teach them arts and crafts or some musical instruments, so that they are not addicted to these gadgets and television. If they are creative skills are kindled, if they're innovative and engrossed in these projects, I don't think that they will be interested in television and social media. They won't look for entertainment in gadgets. So we should, the school also, I think, should incorporate a period like we had home science in our days. So something, where they have not just thinking about studies, something else which will go a long way in improving their overall development of the children. So these are the things we should look into, and hope we have a healthier generation of children in the future, and less incidents of depression and suicides. All this can be taken care of if there is wholesome development of the children. Okay.
Thank you very much, Doctor. There is lot of information you gave in a small time. Doctor, you mentioned that the laptop screen, like 1 arm length, should be there from this thing. But nowadays it's happened that most of the people are on iPad also. Like, for example, if there is 2 children now, because of the online classes, one child will be using a laptop and the other child will be using iPad or something like that. So how, is there any specific this thing for using iPad?
See, the iPad is actually, it causes more disadvantages because the screen is again smaller.
Yeah.
So in that case, they have to adjust the size of the font and the image so that it is comfortable. Because again, if it is small and it's caused more of focusing issues, and I said all the problems associated with prolonged near work will appear, and they have blurring of vision, double vision, headache, all this will happen. So if you see that the size of the font and size of the image is made comfortable for them, and again, blue light filter, if applied, will be comfortable. All these things will have to be taken care of.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor. Thanks for the information. Now coming to the other aspect of this issue, this lockdown, Dr. Rajendra, we are getting a lot of queries about the kids' health, as they don't have any physical activities. So what do you suggest, like, now we got some questions like, as the kids are spending more time on gadgets, which earlier we restricted, now we also don't have any option as the online classes and all are started. So how the physical activities we can implement?
Actually, now the world has changed. and probably these changes will be there for quite a long time. So we have to start adapting instead of trying to get into a phase thinking of what was there before, because the same things are not going to hold true today. Now what happens is the parents are now thrown into a situation where they have to run home schooling with their teachers used to do. The best thing is, first and foremost, yes, think of them and extrapolate it into your life. Have them to go to bed at the same time, get up at the same time, and fix a routine just like as they were having in the school, where they'll be what you do is 20 to 30. I mean, generally, ideally, children's attention span is generally about 45 minutes. That's the reason the classes are 45 minutes most of the places. In the smaller children, the attention span can be still little lower. So 30 minutes is the time in which you prepare a schedule for the child as if he is in the school. Okay, so the 30 minutes you have this, and then you have 20 minutes of break. Now 20 minutes will be off screen time, during which you'll be giving some activity for the child. Now what could be the activity? The activity could be anything. Actually, if for a very small child, there could be some block making, some art, it could be drawing, it could be some puzzles which could be there, or even helping the mother in the kitchen. Very small child can help by getting all the vegetables in one place. The older child can even get to, I mean, these are learning skills actually. They can get into a phase of trying to learn to see how the mother cooks. And those who are older can prepare their own recipes and get into that, because that will give them a sense of having done something which is an achievement. So this is the second thing. Now the basic thing is there are various other the schedule which you make should be say 9 to 2 or something, where you'll be having 4 or 5 of sessions where there'll be on screen time and others will be off screen time. The off screen time has to be utilized for some activity which doesn't involve the screen, or it is the on screen time which is meant for connection to their peers, that is their friends or their classmates. Or the other thing is connecting to their family members, because this is the time when it's not possible to meet your parents or grandparents or other relatives or whomever you have. So this would be not on screen time for education. This will become a non educational on screen. So this will also help, because this will be just like getting into a social connections, which also is beneficial to the children in the long run. This is the second thing which they can do. The third thing is what sports you can, what activity they can. I mean, if there is now with the partial lift down of the lockdown curfews in most of the areas, there will be some amount of time either in the early in the morning or in the evening, whatever time you have, the child can walk, have an activity just like walking, because what we want is from one household the people can be in contact with each other. There should be no grouping which should be happening even subsequent to the lockdown having gone off. So that time you cannot have friends playing, but the sibs of the same house, they could be playing, or they could be moving around with the parents and having some I mean, even walking, cycling, or even throwing the ball, basketball they could be having if they have some space over there, or they can play with the ball, whatever sport is possible in their particular given area, or whatever is possible in their house they can be doing. So this will help the children to get off and have a life which is similar to what it was in the school, because this is an added role which the parents will have to play, not only as a parent but as a teacher, as well as, I mean, at times as a referee. If there are two kids, they are fighting, so they are referees, because they say when one kid, it's you are a parent, when two kids you are a referee, getting sometimes they could be what you call it, just fighting around or asking for the same thing, because this is a normal developmental part of the whole thing. We call it sibling rivalry. At times it could be beneficial, because the older child could there could be an additional bonding which could happen between them. The reason being is that is the only peer which the child is seeing. Okay, so this particular opportunity, it's an opportunity which could be in the long run of immense benefit, because they can start respecting because initially there will be a fight or whatever for getting both the things, but later on they'll start feeling comfort, because that is the only child which they see with whom they can play. So they might start learning how to share things, how to, probably if it's an older child, he can learn how to take care of that and even act as a babysitter, giving some relief to the mother or to the father who is taking care of, because now it is nothing like that only mother has to take care of the child. The father is also at home or whatever he can, or working from home, he can always help out over there. So these are some of the ways in which they can be supportive to each other and giving a feeling of bonding between the between the two kids. So these will be helping in the long run. Of course, we will be worried about the screen time all the time. Okay, but the screen time, there also our role, because why the excessive screen time is associated with I mean unhealthy habits like sedentary lifestyles. So how to get out of the sedentary life, which causes obesity? You put them on activities. Now the other effect is there will be harmful content which could be violent and sexual, which has to be monitored. The privacy settings should, on whatever equipment the child is using, should be put at the highest level. So therefore this doesn't happen. The child should be taught not to give any their names or share pictures, anything on the website. So otherwise these could lead to cyberbullying, gaming disorders, and even later on in older child it could be a gambling, online gambling could come into. So the responsibility rests on parents, guardians, school authorities, health and social care providers, digital technology people who are making, gaming companies and policymakers. The excessive because this is replacing the healthy behaviors with less of physical activities. So what is essential is they should not be getting into malnutrition. So their nutrition should be taken care of. They should be having a literally the same way as if they were having a lunchtime, breakfast time, and sleeping time has to be 1 hour before they are sleeping. All the gadgets should be off, because it has been found that when they have been in any contact with any of these gadgets, their sleep is a disturbed sleep. And once the pattern gets established, the child within a short time, you'll find that it becomes life becomes easy. And you should be on watch to see if the child is showing any side effects because of them. Now what would you be looking for? Whether the child's inability to focus or complete the school task, has his relationship with the other family members or peers changed, or the priorities which are in the child's life, such as eating, sleeping, personal hygiene or exercises, they are getting affected, or there is a person mood or ability to control the outspurts or becoming aggressive has started coming, because these are all signs of excessive screen time side effects which start coming in. So the use of the screen time should be such that it doesn't bring down any of this, and therefore the screen time should be intermingled with a physical activity. Now there are lots of websites also where they are available, where offline activities can be done, where you can print out their I mean, suppose a drawing to be colored, the sketch, the outlines could be there, or they could be having some PBS Kids is one very good site for there, where you can get all this assignments and everything and give it as an assignment to the child. So therefore at the completion you offer a praise to the child. This will cause a positive praise to the, positive impact to the child. So it will bring out better in the child. Always don't try to, if you have put on certain rules or you have put in something, be watching for any transgressions from them, but don't always get into the negative aspects of scolding and getting into that, because that will bring out a negative response from the child. Positive praising is as essential as positive ignoring at times. Okay, so you allow something to good, and of course there would be some amount of break time also you need to, because once you put in, if they do a certain activities, you give them some reward. Reward could be anything, just it could be telling them, oh, you did a good job, you took care of your brothers, you did something. So that will, when you say you took care of your brother or sister or anything, anyone in the who is smaller, that will give them a togetherness feeling. While when they are trying to do something which they have attained, they would be getting the credit, because normally they would be getting from the teacher. Now we have to give them, so therefore they feel more comfortable into the whatever is happening around. So, and of course the schools also, whatever homeworks or whatever they are doing online classes, they have to be very vigilant that the privacy settings and everything's are well in place. So nothing, and they should, the teachers as well as the healthcare givers also should be looking for any changes which suggest that there is some cyberbullying happening or anything, there is any behavioral assessment, because this will become a part of this. And policymakers also need to see to it that whatever gaming people are making, they don't have any, because all games are addictive. So addictiveness should be, which could be one, of course, causing them physical problems as the excessive screen time is causing them. And the second thing is, it could even lead to them getting into the gambling sites and everything. So that has to be watched by the parents, especially in the older children. They should never be sharing anything which is personal on that. So these are some of the ways in which we can try to streamline, because as of now, work from home, schools from digital classes, the online things, once it has started, because it has lasted for so long, so it will become a part and parcel of life, at least for the next year or so, and maybe for the long run, because this could be the changing thing which has happened. The pandemic, which has globally impacted and made everyone literally without anyone outside your door, literally prisoners in their house, and still having to continue to do your activities, you will have to find something different to go through.
Thank you, Doctor. That's very lot of information.
Some of your query.
That is really a lot of information what you provided right now. One thing I noticed, like you mentioned about, as now the partial curfew is open in most of the places. You mentioned about outdoor walking and playing in front of the building with the family. Like but the question is, how safe it is to play outside the building, and what are the precautions we need to take care?
There is no harm in playing outside, because the virus will be floating if you are in close proximity. So when you're outside, you should be seeing that the distance of about 10 feet is there between the other group which is there. Okay, this is the first thing. Secondly, while you're traveling down or anything, you should see that the children don't touch the surfaces or anything. The same thing is when they reach down to play, they have the things which are clean, I mean, from their own house, the balls or whatever they are using, or any playthings or cycles, they are well sanitized and used over there. And of course, you have to teach them that not to touch their face, because that is from hand to face transmission occurs maximum. And if they are older children, they should be wearing masks if they are coming into close proximity with anyone. And any children about 2 years, they can wear a mask, because that helps in prevention of that. Hand washing is very essential, and a distance. If the two children are playing, there is no harm, because that's what they are doing in the house. So they are not, whatever they are going to pass, they are already going to pass in the house. Same is for the parent playing with them. There is going to be nothing. So there the distance is, but between two households, even the neighbors, they have to maintain that. So it is not essential that I mean, because he's my neighbor or he's my relative, therefore they come through. Unless they are living in the same place, then it is fine. This would happen in some houses where there are 2 families, 3 families sharing. There too, you would have to be taking of the same care inside the house also. And when, of course, when you go for outdoor activity, it will be still there.
Okay, that's very informative, Doctor. Also, one point I noticed, like you were, I believe the parents have a great role in this one. Yes, you are talking about this online safety and parental control on the most of the online sites. And you mentioned one point, like we had to be away from the gadgets at least 1 hour before going to sleep.
Yeah, definitely. Generally,
we can see like even most of the parents are there going to the bed with their WhatsApp. This is what happened in the reality.
So they should lead by an example instead of being, because it's very easy. The child is looking for a role model. Now with you only being in the house, the parents only being in the house, they are the first role models. So if they do something wrong, the child is going to pick up very fast. So
Yeah,
it might
that's
be
true.
tough for the parents, because if they are working from home, they may get in the night time only to use the gadgets or whatever they want to see. They should always have a family time. Actually, this is also very essential, so they can watch the same things. Of course, of course, it needs to end 1 hour before their sleeping time. But they could see a series or a cartoon or a family movie where they could interact with the other children, showing, I mean, even ask the child to narrate a story out of it. What did you see? What did you gather from him? So this will encourage a storytelling session with the child. So therefore, that will become also a new way, maybe a new exercise to go through.
Yeah, that's correct. Now, Dr. Sujata, you already mentioned about some of the exercise you already mentioned.
Yes.
Is there any specific things the kids as well as the parents can do in some kind of eyes exercise or something?
Sorry, can you just repeat? I didn't hear it.
Kind of exercise, what they can follow for the eyes?
Exercises, I told you, if they are using the screens, they should follow the 20-20-20 rule. I said they can, take a break, and
Okay.
I told you 20 minutes, they take a break for 20 seconds and, go to the window and stare at a distance of, look at the trees or something, if any greenery, and just into the distance for 20
Okay.
seconds. And I said, then other exercises, they can do relaxing exercises, but they need to, go to an ophthalmologist who can actually show them. They can be taught
Okay.
to relax their muscles, and a lot of exercises are there to reduce the strain on the eyes.
Okay. We have some questions from the parents who are already wearing glasses. The kids, we are already wearing glasses. Can they reduce this power of glasses through dietary changes or exercise?
See, it depends upon the power. If it is, there's no home remedy for glasses. They have to wear glasses, that is there. But then if it is a small power, then if they reduce, I told you all this causes strain, increased strain, all those causes, if you can reduce those causes, get rid of the strain, do some relaxing exercises, eat good food, of course, good food, and drinking plenty of water, eventually it can at least arrest the progression. It will not increase, the power will not increase, and it can stabilize. And small decrease in the power also can happen over a long period of time if eye strain is avoided. But it cannot totally remove the glasses. They need to check once in 3 months, and accordingly they can do something about it.
Okay, Dr. Rajendra, I think you already covered some of this from these questions. We got lot of questions about the anger between the kids, and most of the parents are saying that they noticed this behavioral change during this lockdown, that kids are getting more irritated, they are becoming more angry, and all these things.
First and foremost, yeah, sure, please go ahead.
No, this is the question. I think some of the points you already covered.
First and foremost, we need to go to the cause why they are angry. Okay, whether it is our behavior or our attitude which is causing the child to get more angry, the parental, because of the stress strain which they are having, because it can pass to the child. So if that is there, first we need to address that too. That is one. Second is to see why the child is angry. Okay, whether he's angry because the older child is getting more screen time or anything, then you need to sit and explain. If you are in not comfortable or anguished or anything, take a break. First and foremost, the parents need to take a break. Even breathe, take 10 deep breaths or count till 10, and then try to address it, because that will be in a calmer frame of trying to see, and they'll be seeing what is actually happening. Then they need to see what the child is, between the two kids, if it is happening, the smaller kid and the bigger kid, what is the or if it is the single kid also, he could be angry for anything, whatever he wants. He would be throwing a temper tantrum also, which in normal situation also is a part of a developmental phase. How you handle it, that is more important actually. You need to find out why it is happening and then to resolve it. And lastly, if it is that he's trying to, that is the reason, first and foremost, I said, have a time schedule made for everything and reward that positively, and put a break for that when they don't follow a particular thing. And lastly, secondly, always keep their timings in sleep times, and because normally children, they need about 9 to 12 hours of sleep depending upon their given age. So that much sleep time they should be having. Their waking time should be kept almost at tandem as it was going on before, and they should be having their meals also in time, which should not be junk food which they should be having. They should have healthy food. What would you call a healthy food? Healthy food would compromise 50%, because there are 5 types of ingredient. One is vegetables, fruits, then lean meat and other things, cereals, and dairy products. So each component is essential part of the whole healthy eating. 50% of it ought to come from vegetables and fruits. So this is the first part of it. Second thing is 20-25% will be coming from the other cereals, from the other three components which are remaining from there. But it should not be excessive of anyone. If we are having a wrong food habit, this is the time when it will get aggravated. Actually, fortunately, with all this fast food junk places just having online services, not having closed down, it's a good opportunity to do a corrective measure there for yourself also, because this would give you also pleasure in preparing something. It could be a veggie chips which you could prepare in the house from vegetables, which might be more healthier than that having that Ruffles or whatever XYZ stuff which you are getting it. You could have as a snack, you could have some dry fruits which you could have, which would be giving good nutritious things and to the child. Or they could be having some fruits which are still available easily over here in most of the places. So these are the things where you need to have a proper sleep, have a routine, reduce their stress, because they put reducing their screen time and intermingling with the non-screen time, which is an activity time. It doesn't mean that when he doesn't have a screen time, he's just on the sofa waiting for the next screen time to come through. No, it is not that. During that particular time, it has to be utilized as a non-screen time. And if the child doesn't follow, you could put earlier it was that your laptop or your phone is taken away for 1 week or 10 days or 15 days. It's not possible. You could give them for 1 hour you're not going to get it. So it will be like being out of that given screen time. So next time the child would be more positive. And this of course could be done for an older child, not for a very small child, 2 months old, 2 years old or 1 year old child would not understand. This is the thing. So till you get to the gist of the cause, there is no common solution for that. But many times it's the anxiety of the parents and of the older siblings also is passing on to the younger one and causing the confrontation, so which needs to be addressed in time. And as I said, filter all the messages, because all negative messages will always bring a negative environment in the house. Don't watch during looking for the preparation of this session also. When I am reading so much of this, I also feel stressed that what is happening. Though I know that this is the situation. Yesterday, when we were having a session with our all consultants over there, how to move ahead with this, we were feeling that the situation is how it is and what it is, with various inputs coming through. The situation is same. We have been seeing it in our hospitals. We never closed down a single day. We continue to see all the patients which are coming with some amount of filtration as per the MOH requirement. So every individual will be having some way of getting it, moving ahead with it, because there cannot be a universal formula. And we need to find out sources which are offline to keep the child active. It could be giving him a journal where if the older child is interested in writing, give him to write something every day, some story or something. If somebody is interested in drawing, give them a book every day. I mean, or whatever they start with the drawing or painting or craft or whatever they do it, or singing or dancing or whatever they like, record it, show it to them, or record in the sense it could be in the book, it could be anything. So when you look to that, the child will feel a sense of achievement, and he or she will be directed to a place where they'll forget the quarreling part of it. And in an older child, always look if there is a cyberbullying which is going on, because that's a very common thing which is happening in many places. And this is even the cause for children's abnormal behaviors, where they will not bring it out. There should be always checks and balances for that. This could happen from any of the online experiences which are going on. I think I answered some, or you need something more? Hello? Yeah, I think Mr. Sunoj is offline.
Hello. Yeah, Sunoj is offline. He'll be coming. He'll be joining in. Yeah, Sunoj has come.
Yeah. Sorry,
Okay, 1 minute. Sunoj will be coming.
Because in cyberbullying, the child will be withdrawn and will not be responding in the normal phase, will not be wanting to eat properly in given time, and they will be anxious, depressed, not doing the normal activities like sleeping in time, waking up in between. So these are the things which we have to be very, very vigilant to see what's going on. And if we do that, we'll be finding some solutions for what is going through.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor.
Yeah.
I hope I'm audible.
Yeah, now you're audible.
Okay.
So
Dr. Sujata, we have some specific questions.
Yeah.
We have one question. The parent is asking, well, my daughter's eyes turn red very frequently and she starts rubbing her eyes. What could be the reason? Similar question we received from a few other parents also.
Yeah, this is typical of dryness of the eyes. This happens, one, because of the increased AC settings also can cause dryness. They can reduce the AC settings. They can keep a humidifier at home, so to increase the humidity. Then, as I told, rubbing of the eyes should be discouraged. Instead, they can splash clean potable water onto the eyes. And if it is still not relieved, they can use artificial tears. Eye drops are available. They can be used frequently, and even gels are available, which they can use at night. And as I told, the dry effects of screen, and as I mentioned earlier, all that also should be taken care of.
Okay. I have one more question. My 7-year-old daughter has been wearing glasses for the past 2 years. She has been waking up at night crying that her eyes are hurting and she is unable to open her eyes. It reduces after splashing water into her eyes. This is happening very often. What could be the reason?
This is again a case of dryness, but in this case it is very severe. It has crossed that stage, and what happens is, it has affected the surface of the cornea. They get erosions, and suddenly it will tear. When there's a tear on the cornea, they have intense pain. That is why they cry. So this, as I said, all the causes that cause dryness, like from the AC, then they should avoid dehydration, drink plenty of water, avoid rubbing. They should use frequent eye drops frequently, either splashing of water, or they can use artificial tears frequently. Then this particular child, she needs to use the gel at night, and ideally she should consult an ophthalmologist, because we need to remove the diseased epithelium. We remove it so that fresh, healthy epithelium will regrow, and this issue doesn't happen again and again. She said that it is recurring, so she needs to see an ophthalmologist at the earliest Till then, they can use artificial eye drops and gel at night.
Okay. Okay. I think we have 10 more minutes. And Dr. Rajendra, we have a lot of questions on a particular subject. Many parents are asking the same questions. The question is like, we are not allowing our kids to go outside for playing. So how we can you suggest some ways to improve the vitamin D, deficiency of vitamin D?
If first and foremost, if the child was not having any vitamin D deficiency earlier and he's eating the same amount of food, then probably it will not be, because you could be having fortified cereals and others which are using, and some of course, if you are non-vegetarian, you could have fish, which could be, if you are having fish, that would also be giving that. And most of the oils, they are also having vitamin D fortification, and milk also would be having some portion of it. But the basic thing is, if it's not the exposure as such, also children were not getting enough exposure to the sun over here, because they was used to, if they would go in the school also, they didn't have any space where they were in the sun exposed. Vitamin D supplements can be given to a child, but actually they are not universally advocated, actually, to be very frank, unless there's a deficiency for them. Vitamin D, if you want to give, then vitamin D drops are available as 400 units would be the requirement for the children less than 6 months to 1 year, and then 600 and above that, international units. So these drops or syrup, they are available in the market. But basically, if their food and eating habit is right, then it is not only vitamin. If it is wrong, then it's not only vitamin D you should be looking for. You should be looking for all replacement. That is the reason I said you need to have a balanced eating habits. This is very essential. Maybe the quantity, if your activity level has gone down, the consumption quantity might reduce marginally, but the thing is, the ingredients should be all there inside. If you don't, if you're not eating a balanced diet, you're always likely to be deficient. So this is the thing. So not being out in the sun is not the only issue. It is what you are eating, and of course the activity, whatever is possible inside the house also, whatever you're doing, maybe you're doing jumping jacks, or whether you're running around in the house in the circles when you're doing it. You could do any possible yoga. Word looks very frightening actually, but if you see some of them, these are just bending and breathing exercises which can be taught to the child depending upon what they are a given age. Of course, with an assistance through some online things, or even by reading. I mean, it's not essential that you need to be perfect in that and become Baba Ramdev, but whatever is possible, if you are doing it, that also helps you in having some amount of bending and other stuff which having. So you need to have some what you call it, movement games which you need to devise for them. That by doing that, you could have some songs or where they dance around, or you give them some challenge, like, as I said, jumping jacks, windmill, toe touches, or whatever exercise that you give them. Then freeze dances. Then there could be some animal dances, whatever comes to your mind. You can always try to build something to make it exciting for the child, as well as what you call it, enjoying. Because I know of a child who was initially told to what you call, do sit-ups for a certain number of time, just as a punishment. Later on, the child started enjoying them and started doing them by herself. So this is the thing. So therefore, the child would go. So it became an activity for the child. Plus, of course, it was no longer a punishment actually for her. So this is because being a role model, you would be able to give to them. And of course, the other activities which you can. I mean, we are talking about food supplement and vitamin D. Sorry, we went out of the thing during the game. But basically, vitamin D supplements as such are not essential. But looking to the limited benefits which have been found in giving vitamin D to those who are having COVID, not to the others. Others, it doesn't make much difference. But they are immunity builders, so they can be given as a supplement if you feel your child was deficient on vitamin D prior to the lockdown. Otherwise, lockdown alone is not going to make them deficient. The more the balanced diet, generally try to insist on having more fruits and vegetables in your diet. that would take care of many of the trace elements and vitamins, which are all interrelated in their absorption and utilization. If you are deficient in one of them, then the utilization of the other is also going to go on suffering. And of course, you need to have the milk is ideally advised for children or for adults also. It should be about at least about half a liter or so per day is the normal requirement for any person above the age of 2 years. Even for an adult, a dairy product of that much is beneficial for them and healthy, of
Okay.
course.
Okay. Thank you very much, Doctor. That is a lot of information. We have 5 more minutes. If Dr. Sujata, if you have any specific advice to the parents, I would appreciate.
Yeah, see, as I said, we cannot avoid the online classes if this situation just continues. So we need to take care of all these measures which we can from our side to reduce the eye strain for them. Like I said, adjusting the computer screen, taking a break once in 20 minutes, like I said earlier. Ask them to blink. When they take a break, let them blink frequently. Drink plenty of water, maintain hydration. Like Dr. Rajendra said, eat healthy food rather than taking supplements. A lot of parents ask that can we give them supplements. So supplements are not needed. Just eat healthy, fresh fruits and vegetables, and avoid aerated drinks and all these sugary juices. That people think that is also rehydration means you can drink juices, and I think it will lead to another pandemic of obesity at the end of COVID. So not it's just water. Plain water is all that we mean. When you ask them to drink water, just drink water. Then they have to have good hobbies and engage in some arts and crafts or music. They can learn musical instruments, so that instead of telling them not to do certain things, it's better you divert their attention. Instead of telling them not to look at gadgets and this thing, you give them other options. And like I said earlier, it should be started at a younger age. The sooner the better, because once they reach teenage, then you're crazy if you ask them to develop a new hobby. So this earlier it started better, and parents need to lead by example. You cannot preach them what you cannot practice yourself. So like before sleeping, all devices, all electronic gadgets and devices have to be switched off 1 to 2 hours before they go to sleep. And the routine should be followed, like Dr. Rajendra said, routine should be followed. The same sort, if there was school also, get up at the same time, follow a certain discipline. And like exercises, in the COVID times, if you cannot go out, you need to do some exercises at home, like yoga or simple yoga, is good enough, it is beneficial. And if they can go out, that will be the best. Like I said, they need to, at least in the age group 4 to 10, they need to spend at least 1.5 to 2 hours outside in outdoor activities, so that the myopia, this thing, pandemic can be put to an end. And most important, one more thing is they should not rub their eyes. Rubbing the eyes itself can cause astigmatism, condition where again there will be blurring of vision and they need to wear glasses. And if they are wearing glasses, they should wear it regularly. Some parents think that they need to wear it only when they are reading or using them. No, when the eyes are open, the eyes are functioning. So the glasses need to be worn as soon as they get up until bedtime. And they can splash water onto the eyes whenever there is dryness of eyes. And they can reduce the AC settings. All these can take care of the eye strain part of it.
Okay, I think that is for all. What I believe is the main thing is that parents has to.
Some take-home messages I can just give very briefly.
Yeah. Yes, go ahead.
First is the focus on the family. Schedule a time to play and have positive activities. Slow down and take care of yourself. Validate your emotional experiences. Be critical and selective consumer of information. You do not need to become your child's professional teacher. clear about your structure, have a clear structure and your expectations and follow them through. Communicate about coronavirus and COVID according to the child's level of understanding, simplify the language and create visuals if needed. And collaborate with your child's school. Plan for us, because maybe now they are not going to have any summer vacation. So plan for the summer some activities which you can do in whatever restrained way. Be a model, develop a model healthy coping skills, including validating your own experience as well as your child. Create and follow a stop plan. Stop means stop, take a step back, observe and proceed mindfully. And always when you're looking for any guidance, go use the public health and reliable resources only. Don't look to WhatsApp industry is not for the actual factual things. The teens have a special place because they would be having they would be having a different experience. Their feelings need to be validated and the experiences need to be validated. Have an open communication channel with all your children and watch for signs. If you find them struggling, then you need to schedule a support for your teens. Always see that they have enough sleep and enough physical activity in whatever the constrained environment is there, and they remain connected to their friends and peers and stay safe. This could be a virtual connection, but still it is very essential. And take good care of yourself, because modeling awareness of your emotion, a healthy coping skill, will always help the children, especially the teens. And definitely celebrate the accomplishment of the child. Teens, they are missing out the graduations, they are missing out something of the sort. You can celebrate in your house. You could have a virtual celebration, which is commonly going on these days. I just found a birthday party going on where it was a virtual thing, and every parent was cutting the cake for their child. They were preparing their house while the birthday girl was doing it at her place. And they were all of them, they decided a menu, so everyone had a pizza. So when one child puts a pizza in the mouth, the other child is also doing it, so they feel that they are still connected over there. So these type of things will help them to feel some amount of normalcy in their life. And this is very essential, because because the child is very resilient, as I told earlier, he's going to bounce back. We also need to do the same thing, because our positivity will always reflect in the child, and that will go to make this particular experience, which is very unfortunate pandemic which is going on, we'll be able to pass it in a very better way without leaving any scars. This is what I personally feel should be something which will help every one of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rajendra and Dr. Sujata, for your valuable tips and especially for your valuable time.
Thank you.
I'm getting some questions. If you don't mind, I can spend 2 more minutes.
No problem.
One person is asking whether the stammering. He say that his 4-year-old child is stammering during the lockdown period. Have this stress cause stammering? Does this stress cause stammering?
Yeah, the stress will cause. Plus, actually, sometimes when they would be seeing something which is having a stammering impact, then they will be also following. This will go away. You need to be more gentle with the given child and try to talk with him. Have more amount of family time where you'll be talking one-to-one. It will go away in time. They don't need any medication, right?
Okay, thank you very much, doctor, and thanks to all the audience for your time for attending this session. And I believe that as doctor said, the parents also has to learn a lot, especially when it comes to the use of gadgets. The parents has to be the role model for the kids. And thank you, doctor, once again, and thanks to all the audience. This is the second IAK Talks we are doing for our readers, and we will be coming up with the new sessions like this with other different subjects. So please tune on to the indiansinquire.com for further announcements. Till then, thank you all.
Thank you, Sunoj, and thank you all the audience who patiently listened to whatever we said. If you have any more queries, you can pass on to Mr. Sunoj. We'll try to answer to them digitally if possible. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Also. Thanks. Okay.